I just showed in a video earlier about the size of pellets proving that I wasn't shot with my gun. I'm gonna show you more evidence on this one. Here's a picture of the type of gun that I had. I was under a home invasion that night. I was reporting burglaries to the police over a year before. I didn't know it then. I know it now. There was a burglar trapped in my bathroom, and I had a shotgun that night. This was the type of shotgun I had, and this is a Remington 1200 pump shotgun. This action slides back and forth. It's a pump, okay? And here's the ejection port. Underneath it's where you load in the shells, okay? This will hold 5 shells, and so you can shoot and then eject a shell and shoot again, eject a shell. Okay, and the ejection port's right here, okay? So basically what I'm going to show in this video, if I'm shot with this shotgun, as the police were falsely saying, I was not shot with this gun. We already proved that. But then there would be an empty shell in the gun, right? I mean, I'd shot myself with my gun. There'd be an empty shell in the gun. They'd have to, eject it, and it would eject it. They couldn't get the 4 other live shells out until they ejected the empty shells, okay? The problem is the CSI Marty Barret, he didn't list a spent shotgun shell in evidence, but he did list 4 live shells. Why? Because I wasn't shot with my gun. Okay, now let me show you here. Okay, so Marty Barret here, the CSI, crime scene investigator. Y'all seen that TV show, right? He's the one that picked up my gun. I collected evidence from the scene, included a shotgun, okay? Remember that the corrupt Midland Police are saying I shot myself with my gun when this was a cold-blooded murder attempt. Somebody shot me from under my home. And Marty Barret checked in 4 live Remington 12-gauge shotgun shells, but he did not check in an empty shell. He couldn't even get these shells out until he ejected the live shell, okay? And the reason is I wasn't shot with my gun. I made a big point of this online, and of course the police know this already. They're covering up a premeditated murder attempt, okay? And what happened is in December 2013, my attorney subpoenaed all the police records, and they gave us the police records, and so we got the police records, and basically it showed what I've always seen, is that there was no empty shell. I made a big point of that, and then about 6 or 7 years later, I requested this evidence log, and they sent me an updated evidence log. And what happened is they put a 12-gauge shotgun shell here, hand wrote it in, okay, and they scribbled out one piece of evidence. It was a hole, and now it's no longer a hole. They scribbled that out and put it in shotgun shell because I made a point on there being no empty shotgun shell. And this was 2 spent 12-gauge shotgun shells from Matt Davis, okay, not the crime scene investigator Marty Barret, Matt Davis, okay. So Matt Davis quit the police department. He goes to work for an oil company. He went to work for National Oil Varco. I found it on his LinkedIn. See, he used to be a sergeant with the Midland Police Department, and he quit right after that protective order hearing, and that's when they scribbled out that one piece of evidence, hand wrote in another piece of evidence, and then he went to work for this oil company. I wonder if this oil company had people at the underground oil show parties, specifically 2010 when that young girl was murdered. And then later, Matt Davis, he writes on my YouTube channel, he says, "Buddy, I stole the evidence and nobody will ever find out, buddy." That's Matthew Davis on it, on his, he wrote on my YouTube channel right there. And that could be verified. Police could verify it, but they already know the truth. I believe the reason Matt Davis quit is because he's the one that falsified the evidence. He's the one that scribbled out that hole and wrote in 12-gauge shotgun shell. Okay, he's the one checked in shotgun shell. But remember here, it was Marty Barret that picked up my shotgun, checked out the 4 live shells from the gun, but did not check in. And what's a real scary thought is a crime scene investigator is tampering with evidence in a premeditated capital murder attempt. I bet you he's sent people to prison based on evidence that he's touched and maybe tampered with. This is Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas.